And welcome, it's episode 26 of the Modern Gamecast. We're talking October 2019 video game releases. I'm your host JD, joined by my friend Jay.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, we've got less games to talk about than the previous, 2 months that we've covered?
Something like that, yeah.
Well, we did that combined July-August episode, then we did September, which had like 14 games come out. And now we're in October, where there's considerably less games.
Well, I mean, that's good for us. It means we don't have to spend as much money, but, I mean, but that game's good quality, I guess we'll find out.
Ah, nice little teaser there. So, for this episode, we have Ghost Recon Breakpoint, Yuka-Laylay, The Impossible Lair, Little Town Hero, Disco Elysium, Concrete Genie, The Outer Worlds, MediEvil Remake, and Luigi's Mansion 3. Naturally, my mama talking about her opinion over MediEvil and Luigi's Mansion 3 to we're going to finish out the cast with that stuff this time.
Are we?
So we'll talk about it, Jay, and then it'll just segue into her, and that will be the end of the cast.
Whoa. Why are we doing it that way
Timestamps
this
accordingly. Because I feel like it.
time? Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. I got all the answers today.
I guess so.
So, Jay, I'm putting you on the spot here. We have gotten a number of emails that I'd like to address. They all pretty much involve the same question, since we're coming to the end of the year, and the previous casts involved a similar situation. It involves games we missed during the course of the year. People want to know what we think of Void Bastards, Outer Wilds. We got a lot of questions about. Oxygen is not included. Got a couple about that.
Hey,
Yokai
Oxygen
Watch
not included
3.
looks like a lot of fun.
Dude, I have been playing the shit out of that game on Steam. It's awesome. I don't know why Steam is having an issue tracking how long I've played games. I don't get it. It's like a bug in my system. But anyways. So, in previous years, we've had kind of for December, right before the Christmas holiday, we just put out a quick episode right after the November episode. To
of games
just
we've
kind of
missed?
Right, games we've missed over the course of the year. So then when January rolls around and we do our Games of the Year cast, we've had covered all the games we want to talk about, and that's possibly on our Game of the Year list. So, Jay, are you up for doing that? Because I have a host of games that we could talk about for that December cast.
Dude, I am all in.
Yeah. You're not all out, you say?
Some would say I'm full gear? I don't know.
Full gear for that episode, yes. Doing AEW references.
I promise I won't land on my face.
Yeah, a little bit more athleticism than that, don't you?
Yeah.
Dude, I was scared when I was seeing that live. I was like, oh my god, his neck might be broken.
Yeah, it looked bad on TV as well. It's like, you ever tried diving into a swimming pool with no water? Because that's kind of what it looked like.
Yeah, it looked like his body folded in half. We're talking about AEW Full Gear. I made a fun weekend trip out of that. Slept in my car on Saturday night. It was a lot of fun.
That's a spirit.
Yeah, a lot of podcasts I listened to. Jay, did you realize a lot of podcasts have terrible audio and cover essentially nothing?
I think you're hinting at my show, but
no,
yes.
I'm hinting at all the other shows out there.
I mean, my show's about 30% actual content and like 60% banter, but sure.
I'd prefer the banter over the lack of, the trying of lack of content that ends up being. Anyways.
Fair enough.
Hopefully we're not that.
Send us an email opinions. What you think.
Yeah. The email's in the description of every episode, so just hit us up there.
Yeah, I got questions for your mum, so I've got to send in emails.
Yes. Ask my mom anything. Video games, wrestling, all the like. People really love her on the wrestling cast in particular.
Dude, your mum's a heel, and I think it's great.
And that's not even her intention. It's just she doesn't give a shit.
Pretty much, it's so good.
She's living the gimmick, you might say.
I really enjoy her living the gimmick, so it's fine.
Yeah. She's no longer invited to #Team Riho.
Well, you've given her multiple opportunities, and if she hasn't joined Team Riho yet, she never will.
Well, now she's not even invited anymore. I have rescinded the offer. I won't
Yeah,
allow her to
well.
join if she even wants to at this point.
Good. We don't need
Yeah.
her in Team Riho, my dude. Like, she's obviously just not a fan of the very tiny, small Japanese lady who is awesome.
She is not a fan of women's wrestling in general. It's quite funny.
Get her to watch a Stardom show. I'm just very curious to see what she would think of someone like...
She just wouldn't.
Oh, no, I was going to say, like, I'm curious to see what she would think of someone like an Utami or something.
I mean, she liked Nyla, but then I haven't really broken the news that she's a transgender person.
Are you going to?
No, probably not going to do that. She might have some questionable non-PC things to say.
Yeah,
just
well,
put
I
it
think
that
that's
way.
for the best if you want to keep your podcast somewhat PC.
Nah, I mean, I don't care. It's her opinion and what she thinks of the matter, but I'd rather keep listeners than drive them away. Anyways,
Dude,
let's talk.
Bring her on my show. I'm not one to shy away from controversy. I'll tell her.
Maybe she'll discover it someday. But anyways, let's talk about a broken, busted piece of shit game, and then we can move on to all the other good games of the month.
Okay, I'm gonna have a wild guess here and say that it's an Ubisoft game or it's a Bethesda game.
Well, this month it is an Ubisoft game. It is called Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Yes, it is a broken mess.
So if you've had any experience with an Ubisoft game, you realize it's a sandbox open world with towers to unlock, and this time they decided to monetize literally everything in the game, and it's
Seems
always
a bit
online.
counterintuitive.
Well, it's why play the game when you can just buy all the shit to beat it for you.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. I absolutely despise what this game represents, and Ubisoft's paying for it, Jay. I don't know if you've seen their financial results at all for Ubisoft in 2019, but
No, I haven't.
they are in the shitter. They've lost at least 75% of the revenue because no one's buying their games.
Brilliant. Hopefully the next Assassin's Creed game will, like, go back to an old style of setup.
Yeah, maybe. So the Division 2 sold very low, below their expectations. The user base isn't staying because they've gone full live service, and I believe we've covered this on the podcast prior, that Ubisoft's live service, maybe this is probably before when you got here, Jay, but I spoke about Ubisoft's kind of press release where they're focused on the live service model, and everyone knew that it's not a sustainable service, because if you want players to keep playing your game, that requires people from spending all their time playing your game and nothing else, essentially. And I thought that the Ubisoft baseline is all about creating new properties and not sticking with a live service model. And sure as shit, not even, I would say, within a year and a half, or not over a year and a half, they've completely busted their own franchises. Ghost Recon, Division 2, the looter shooter. They ended up pushing back many of their releases to 2020 so they can focus further on them and possibly get rid of a lot of those things that they were going to put in the games because of how unsuccessful Ghost Recon Breakpoint is, how unsuccessful the Division 2 is by the standard they set. It's quite a read. I do recommend it, actually, if you're into just kind of the financial numbers of... Because I don't know about you, Jay, but Ubisoft was one of my favorite developers out there. It was a top developer for me.
Yeah, at around the time of, like, Far Cry 3 and friggin' AC Black Flag, I can 100% agree with that.
Yeah, and a lot of their properties in general from the PS2 era, like Beyond Good and Evil, the Prince of Persia series. I love Ubisoft.
That's right, friggin' Beyond Good and Evil is an Ubisoft game.
Yeah, and they're supposedly going to come out with the sequel.
Are you ready to have the ending behind a paywall?
I sure hope not.
With a la Deus Ex.
I rather even like Watch Dogs. The first one I quite enjoyed, despite it being broken at launch. They did end up... This is what I do like about Ubisoft generally, is they fix their games, right? they generally care to fix the game. The problem is they release them broken too often, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, so back to just Ghost Recon Breakpoint in general. Literally everything is monetized in the menu. Guns, colors, advanced experience points. If you can think it, it's monetized to buy, purchase, and pay to win. The more egregious, equal egregious amount is the game is always online. It crashes and breaks constantly. And the worst offender at all, you know what? I'll just keep saying the equal offender is the game's boring on top of it. It's not fun to play.
That's something, and I've got a game later on that I think the same thing about, but we'll get to that then.
Ooh, I'm very excited to hear that. So, needless to say, do not buy Ghost Recon Breakpoint. It's nothing. If you are a Ghost Recon fan, like Kevin from the Retro Gaming podcast, he loves the Ghost Recon games. Ghost Recon Wildlands had a good little add-on with the Predator. Let's call it the Predator patch for the sake of moving on. Well, Wildlands turned out to be, you could find fun in that game. In this one,
no, Wildlands was fun. I liked Wildlands.
This one's just not fun. There's nothing fun about it. If you bought it and you go, well, I ended up having fun with it because I found my own, well, hey, good for you, but that's not what you should do. The game should bring out the fun in itself. You shouldn't have to find it yourself, That was kind of my admittance of why I found No Man's Sky fun, is because my own fun was found in my geology background, and I just find, kind of mining for stuff relaxing and finding all the minerals. So I didn't have to look for the fun or play with friends to find fun, right?
Yeah, no.
The game itself, I
just
found fun in my own way. Now, is the game did the game live up to everyone's expectations? No, I'd be foolish to say otherwise. So Ghost Recon Breakpoint, don't buy it. It's a piece of shit. It's one of the worst games of the year. It's up there for the shit award, the shitter. What's a good analogy or metaphor? Something involving poop, shit, fecal matter.
Yeah, something like that. I will say though, one of my friends said they enjoyed Breakpoint, so I'll have to talk to them and find out why.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's just not playing any good games out there, and he just has this to compare to nothing.
Well, I mean, he is playing Call of Duty at the moment and seems to enjoy that, so...
Oh yeah, the new Call of Duty came out. It's fine. That's all I gotta say. It's a Call of Duty game.
I'm not a COD fan, so I'm not gonna play it.
Yeah, I played the single player. It was mayhem, basically. It was a lot. It was a lot of just. I mean, it was trying to bring a cinematic element to making it feel like you're actually in war, you're in Piccadilly Circus, London, and terrorists are bombing the city. They're running around in the middle of the street, so there's civilians going by. So, cool scenes, but there was just something about it that I was like, yeah, this is cool, and then the replay value just isn't there for me. For that single player.
Fair.
And it's only, I would say, 5 hours, so it's not even that long either. So it's really about the multiplayer experience, which I'm not about. So yeah. Next game?
Next game. Would you like to take us through the next game, dude? Which is, if I'm not mistaken, Yuka-Laylay.
Yes, and the Impossible Lair. So, I don't know if you played the first Yuka-Laylay game. Did you?
I played for a bit. In my head, was too busy comparing it to Banjo-Kazooie, and I think that may be why I didn't like it as much as I probably should have.
Well, I mean, that's what it was trying to be, essentially, and you have every right to compare it to. Did it live up to the expectations? For a lot of people, it did not. And it had a lot of bugs. The control scheme was kind of out of whack. I'm happy to say that the sequel here focused on 2D. It's no longer the Banjo-Kazooie element. Now, it's more like a Donkey Kong Country.
Oh god, those games are hard.
Well, this one's hard in a different way. I really enjoyed Impossible Lair. happy to say. It's if you ever played Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, it looks and feels exactly like that.
DK Tropical Freeze is also hard.
I didn't find it that difficult.
I suck at Donkey Kong games.
But then again, platformers are kind of my jam.
See, like, I'm good at Mario. I'm good at, like, other platformers. I'm just not good at Donkey Kong. I never have been.
Oh, bummer.
Like, I'm not gonna lie. I have to use Funky Kong in Tropical Freeze. And I know that makes the game super easy, but it's the only way I can do things.
Well, that's in the Switch version. That's in the Switch version.
I know. You're implying I played this on the... I had a Wii U.
Are you telling me you're not one of the 8 million people in the world that got a Wii U?
Did you get a Wii U?
Of course I got a Wii U. 3 years after release, but...
Well, was it new or was it secondhand?
No, it was new. It just came with like 3 games when I bought it. It was a big bundle for, I think it was like $175.
One of them was... Okay, DK Tropical Freeze? No,
Correct,
sorry, DK. Alright. One of them... Now, was this post or pre Breath of the Wild?
Pre.
Alright, so... Wind Waker?
Well, that wasn't part of that bundle, no.
Damn it.
But I did get it at the same time, basically. Or did that? That came out shortly after. I don't remember.
Zombie
It wasn't
U.
part of the bundle. No.
I give up.
Mario Kart 8 and Smash.
That's actually a really good combo.
That triplicate bundle I got on a Black Friday was ungodly. I couldn't pass it up.
Yeah, well, I mean, if the price was right, that's a very good combo.
Yeah, I didn't even break 200, so it was really nice.
Hell yeah, that's the way you do it.
Alright, so Yuka-Laylay, the Impossible Lair, is exactly like Tropical Freeze in so many ways. You have your little chameleon guy and your bat creature. The bat creature functions as like a second hit in the level, and you can get them back. So just think about like Dixie and Diddy being together. You get the barrel, you get your character back kind of deal. Follow me so far? The difference in Yuka-Laylay is there are no checkpoints in the levels.
Oh.
The levels I found shorter, so they were doable. I didn't really come across getting too frustrated, right? Its difficulty is the fact that you pretty much have to perfect a level with only getting hit once or twice. So think of playing a Super Mario World level without like that checkpoint halfway. Because you can beat Super Mario World levels without a checkpoint. You can beat a Super Mario World 3 level without a checkpoint. Correct?
Correct, if you're good at those games.
Well, you know, they're basic to a degree. So just imagine kind of that degree of difficulty with the Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze playstyle and element to it. So
that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, and you can collect things and get another hit or collect items. What I think the worst part of the game is actually the overworld, where it's like a level in itself, and you kind of have to wander around and go to the next level. So I really just found myself pulling up a map online of just like what I'm supposed to do next in this overworld, because I just wanted to play the next level. I didn't want to screw around in it. So
when you say it's like an additional level, we're talking like a Mario 64 castle sort of thing.
Yeah, I guess it's like this top-down view though. So think of more like, what would be an example? I can't think of one right now off the top of my head. I was thinking of like a Skylanders situation, but that's just the levels in general. But yeah, there's an overworld. Yeah, we'll go with Super Mario 64. You're going about the castle, and you have to figure out puzzles and unlocking different things to get to the next level, essentially. So
yeah, I get you.
Yeah. Hopefully I described it well enough. It's not going to probably break a top 10 of the year, but if you're into 2D platformers and you're looking for something similar to a Donkey Kong game, and you can't wait for the next Donkey Kong game to come out because who knows when that's going to happen, Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair is a very good substitute. For that
it looks
kind of
pretty.
Yeah, and it's affordable. I think it's only like $20-$30, so it's not a $60 game.
Did they release it on disc or card?
No.
Or is it digital only?
It's digital only as far as I'm aware.
Damn.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty.
Next game,
Next
shall
up, the Little Town Hero, and I will admit I don't know what this game is.
So it's made by Game Freak.
Hey, that's
Pokemon's
Pokemon.
people.
Is it Pokemon?
It is not.
Is it like Pokemon?
It is not.
Is it on the Switch?
It is.
Is it a full release price game?
Yes.
Is it as charming as Pokemon?
No, it's not.
Okay, go ahead.
So, Little Town Hero is a turn-based RPG game.
I'm already in.
It's a lot of people are clamoring for Game Freak to possibly make another game, and here I am online and answering a couple emails that they made one. It's called Little Town Hero, and it just came out. So get over yourselves. To me, this proved that if they put all their resources, it felt like they put a third of their resources into the game. Someone had an idea, and they kind of knew what their idea was going to be and how to put it into a game. But they didn't know how to fine-tune a lot of things.
My god, this is adorable.
It has a really awesome and cute art style to it. It reminds me a lot of kind of a Studio Ghibli, a Ni no Kuni type situation.
Yeah.
However, the battle system is quite cumbersome. I found it way too random. You're doing like small math problems while you do it. It's like you have, think of your monster that you come across has an attack of 2, defense of 2, right? And you have to go through your number of options, and you have like, I have this attack, and it's 2 offense, 2 defense. I have this attack, it's 3 offense, 1 defense. So you're picking one of them, and then the monster will pick one of theirs, and you kind of have to hope, kind of in a rock, paper, scissors situation, that you beat them. And you have a number of hearts that goes down upon hits. And some of these boss battles in the game are really annoying. For example, there's a plant creature that disables on random your attacks. So if you have an attack that you've saved to kind of finish him off, when the time comes, this plant creature disables it, and then you're just fighting it for another like 15-30 minutes. And
that's kind of dumb.
Yeah, it's a battle system that's quite unique. Like I said, it sounds like it felt like they had an idea, but they didn't know how to fine-tune a lot of things. The battles have a ton of animation to them, but you can't skip them. So it just feels like the game is drawn out to just an excruciating circumstance, just to waste your time. And I really didn't like that. I don't like games that make you feel like you waste your time.
As a first game, though, of potentially a new franchise, does it achieve what it needs to achieve in order to get you hype if they were to do another one?
I don't think they're going to make another Little Town Hero. Now,
Fair.
Can they learn from their mistakes that they made with this game? Yeah, Game Freak has enough experience in that regard, right? They've made a Pokemon game or two, you might say.
Yeah, just one or two.
Yeah, just a couple.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think they almost got it, but there's just too many things that I just didn't find fun. The main thing at the end of the day for a turn-based RPG is that turn-based combat addicting enough and interesting enough to get you to keep playing the game and through it. Because there's, the writing was okay, it's kind of funny here and there. The characters are very anime kind of with a lot of tropes, and it's not breaking new grounds by any means, So the whole game is so focused on, do you find that combat system interesting or fun? And I just didn't. And I don't think the game does enough to keep you into it. Luckily, Ghost Recon Breakpoint existed this month, so it's not the worst game of the month. So unfortunately, I don't think I can recommend Little Town Hero. There's just too many better games and more interesting RPGs and even strategy games that came out this year. Wargroove among one of them, right?
Fire Emblem among another.
Fire Emblem's a big one, right?
That's got to be on our Game of the Year list, right?
Oh, yeah. Just where it lands is a matter of opinion, right?
Yeah.
All right, Jay. Next game.
Next game is a small game called Disco Elysium.
Oh, this game.
Go ahead. Sounds like you've got things to say.
Oh, it came out on Steam. It's a point-and-click adventure game, which I am very much a fan of this old-school style. And if you're not into point-and-click adventure games, keep an open mind when playing Disco Elysium, because you might be impressed. You might change your mind about the genre, because, Jay, this game is absolutely ridiculous, and one of the most deep character and dialogue-driven games I've played in probably a decade.
Do they have voice acting at all, or is it just reading?
There's voice acting.
Cool.
To an extent, yeah. But it requires a lot of reading.
Right.
So, you're a detective of sorts, and you have amnesia, okay? But it's because you got blackout drunk, and you can't remember anything.
So far, it sounds like a good time.
So, it's the start of Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Nice.
The amount of choice in this game is insane. You are a detective, and you're kind of going about this dreary world, and as you're trying to figure out and remember about yourself, you come across other characters in this world. And you have so many dialogue options of how to talk to these people, how to interact with them, how to help them, how to not help them, how to help yourself. Because what happens is, as you're talking to all these people, and as you're going person to person, place to place, ideas will pop into your character's head. And these ideas can lead you down a certain path, mostly of your choosing, of how you want your character to end up being. And I'll just throw out some examples there, because they're it's not something a non-mature game would ever think about. You can choose your character to be communist. You can choose him to be a blatant racist beyond all reason. You can choose for him to be a drug addict, where he makes all the wrong mistakes all the time. You can make him a good person, where he's the most nice guy in the world and help every living soul imaginable. It is unbelievable what you can do. By the way, I made my character a drug-induced racist and communist all at once. I made him the worst person in the world, and I won't spoil what happens because it's quite ridiculous. It's awesome.
Dude. I mean, how else would you play the game?
I played a little bit as a good guy. It just you're always the good guy in games, right?
Yeah, you are. That's why, like, the fact that they've included, like, this much friggin' detail to, like, make your character all of these things is friggin' ridiculous.
Yeah, I remember in the game I was talking to one character, and he was talking about, like, doing acid, for example. And
you're like, hell yeah, I'm in.
I was like, hell yeah, where can I get more acid? And character just is in this drug-induced kind of coma, but he's still there, and he's traveling about the world trying to solve a case, and, you know, people are, like, looking at you, and he's like, the detective over there, he's on his drug trip again. Just ignore him. He'll be fine as long as he can solve the case.
Please tell me that, like, when you're high as AF, like, it changes the screen or something, like, it has different settings.
Your character kind like twitches around. Just even more radical ideas will pop into his head because now he's in a drug-induced state. So, my character was a crazy communist. So he was just assuming he got into this induced state, and because he's a crazy conspiracy communist, he thinks like everyone's out to get him and Big Brother's constantly watching. So I'm just reading all this dialogue and it's just amazing.
Dude, this sounds freaking awesome.
Yeah, this game is one of my favorite of the year. It's fucking awesome. It's so good. If it didn't have this much detail in dialogue and the writing is just so good, you would get lost pretty quick. So, highly recommend Disco Elysium. It's on Steam. There's no game out there that even can compare to what this does.
Do you think they'll be doing a console port of it? Because I don't use Steam.
I hope so. I don't know.
Cool. Because this sounds like something I need to play.
I don't know if it's on the Windows Store. Let me check right fast. Disco Elysium. Let's see here. It says, yes, it is on Microsoft Windows, so you don't have to use Steam. It says a port on the PS4 and Xbox One is planned for 2020.
I'm in.
So I would imagine it's digital.
I'm in. I gotta keep an eye out for that because I need to play as a drug-induced communist racist.
Oh.
Just because I can.
Yeah. Just looking at the wiki right here, they say a total of 53 thoughts are unlockable through conversations with characters, as well as internal dialogues within the mind of the... Yeah, okay, I mentioned that, yeah.
Okay, so, curious, is there, like, multiple endings depending on, like, your character, or what's the go?
I don't know, I haven't beaten the game yet.
Well, that's something we need to come back to.
Yeah, perhaps.
Because I am very curious to know, like, if you're an arsehole, do you get an arsehole-y sort of ending?
I would imagine so,
the good
because...
guy ending?
Yeah, I would absolutely imagine that depending on how your character acts and who he is, that the just sheer amount of endings would kind of match that, wouldn't you?
Cool. Yeah, I would assume so. Yes. Alrighty.
I'm looking. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm not seeing anything on the wiki that tells me that there's a number of endings, but I'm kind of assuming so. I don't know. Even if there's one ending, I'm just having so much fun, and it's... My God.
Just do a Google search for, like, how many endings there are in Disco Elysium.
Disco Elysium? Alright, let's see here. Disco Elysium endings. That's gonna make me possibly look up a spoiler.
Here, I'll look it up. Alright. How many endings in Disco Elysium? Alright, how many endings in Disco Elysium? Disco Elysium spoiler thread, open spoilers within, spoilers. Ending felt flat. It looks like there's just maybe one ending, I'm not sure. Which seems kind of like a missed opportunity if there's only one, because you'd think like the way you interact with people, like the ending could be different, but if you're just solving a case, maybe it's just going to change the way people think of you throughout the game.
I mean, in a way, isn't the dialogue itself the ending?
Yeah, I guess so. So, on a scale of like...
How they look at you, what they're saying about you after the end of the case, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So, on a scale of detective games I've had this year, like Judgment and this, which do you prefer?
Oh, this one. This one's way better than Judgment.
I disagree. Judgment is awesome.
Well, you haven't played Disco Elysium, Jay.
I've watched gameplay of it. Judgment's cool, dude.
Judgment is cool.
I can't wait for the friggin' Yakuza, 3-pack in February or January or whenever it is. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, that's a birthday present to myself for sure. All three of those games on the PS4.
You're going to lose me for a month, dude. Don't expect me to play anything else that month.
Oh, we can talk about that. You can talk about that.
Sweet. I'm all in. Just like I'm all in with another game on our list, which is Concrete Genie. And you didn't like this very much, did you?
Well, I didn't hate it.
But you just found it repetitive and kind of boring.
After a couple hours, yeah. I mean, well, so I did beat this game.
So did I.
Okay,
I
because
thoroughly
it's only
enjoyed
like
it.
4.5 hours.
Yeah, and if you want to watch the entire game, it's available on my YouTube channel, which is The People Jaddy.
Hey, there you go. So tell me about your experience and what you think of Concrete Genie.
So, dude, I thought it was really fun. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought the pictures and stuff you could draw were adorable. The genies, when they came to life and helped you solve puzzles, was fun because, like, they would do certain things and they would, like, hey, I want a picture of a sun, and you would draw a sun, and then they would, like, do this little dance thing. But, like, dude, this game, like, for what it is, like, the story that they've got here, which is, like, the bullied kid, his bullies have all got their own problems at home and that sort of thing, and they're only lashing out at him because they can't lash out at their parents and that sort of stuff. It's, for a kid's game, kind of deep.
I mean, it's a bullied story. It's not that
It
deep.
is. Well, okay, for a kid though, like, if there's kids out there that are going through this, like, I would understand why they would like this. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I wasn't exactly a popular kid.
I mean, I was bullied every day in school.
Well, okay, but
I was
you obviously...
beat up every day after school, during school.
So, what, it didn't resonate with you at all?
I mean, I've gotten over it, but I mean, my personal experience in, I don't know, it didn't really go, I don't know, maybe it wasn't deep enough with the whole bullied thing. It just felt kind of bare bones, like, this kid's picked on.
I liked it.
This kid's picked on. He draws art on the walls because there's a term for it though. Is it the broken glass theory? Is that the term? Where a town goes from great to breaking down, and it's in a dreary state situation.
I think so.
I think it's called the broken glass theory.
I think so.
Yeah, just disenfranchised youth rise up through the alleyways kind of situation. Well, anyways. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're kind of like a 9-year-old and you're playing this, yeah, I could see what you're saying, Jay. I won't deny that.
You know, look, dude, I thought it was fun. Like, it's open world. Well, as open world as a very tiny game can be. And you just get to draw really adorable drawings on walls, which come to life and do things. I thoroughly enjoy it. It's
What do you
nice
think of the
and
motion?
relaxing.
What do you think of the motion controls while you're drawing? I didn't find it that bad.
Actually, no, I have a question for you. Did you play this in VR?
There is a VR mode. It's nothing essentially. It's not, the game isn't in VR. It's just a VR mode of the art that you can do on the walls.
Okay.
Yeah.
In answer to the question of the motion controls, I had problems with them at the start, but I got used to them.
Yeah, I found it one of the better motion controls that's in a game. I didn't have any issue with it. It felt very intuitive. Just kind of... Because you're not doing anything intricate with the controller. It's just you pick your tree, you pick your cloud, you pick your
And you
grass,
use the
and you
controller
just...
to aim it, essentially. But they could have done the same thing with the analog stick.
Well, yeah, it could have. I just found it much easier, actually, to just point and just flip, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. For motion controls, it was worked out very well.
Yeah, it made it quick. I know what you mean about, you're making your genies, making your dancing suns. I felt it was pretty good for the first few tries. I don't know.
It just got repetitive really quick, in your opinion.
Yeah, it did, and I don't think it kind of innovated enough with what the genies would do in the environment. When you get, what would you say, halfway through the game, when his paintbrush becomes a weapon, a physical weapon?
Yeah, 2/3 of the way, halfway through. Yeah, something like that.
I'm very mixed on how I feel about that, because the whole idea is you're combating bullies with your art, and you're trying to bring life back to the town, right?
But then your art turns on you because of the emotions of the other people, and you need your brush to combat them.
Yes, I mean that's the idea, right? That's
Yeah.
what they wanted to convey, and that's what you do in the game. You physically fight your art now. That got super repetitive.
Yeah,
Just felt like I was doing the same attack over and over again, and just going place to place.
press square,
attack,
press triangle, press circle, press square, press triangle, press circle. My issue with the combat was it wasn't needed.
No, not at all. It really wasn't. I was hoping for, like, I don't know, Jay. When I was pretty excited for this game, like all year essentially, because it just seemed so unique and out there. You know, using your art to interact with the environment, solving puzzles. Maybe the puzzles weren't deep enough for me.
Maybe they're going to be challenging for a 10-year-old.
Yeah, maybe this is a game geared more towards a much younger child, right? If that's the case, then, you know, my opinion might not be the most accurate for this, but for an adult playing this, maybe an adult playing with their child, this would be much better.
So I've suggested it to one of my friends to get their kids. I'm not sure if they have or haven't yet, but it'd be a perfect game, like we said, for a kid, but I still thoroughly enjoyed it. I liked its charm.
It's not a bad game by any means. No.
Yeah, I liked its charm. It's full of charm.
It's kind of like I wouldn't put it above, say, Yoshi's
Crafted World?
Crafted World. I wouldn't put it above that, but I'd say it's around that for a ranking, for to rank the games of the year.
Yeah.
It's just not very long. Which
Yeah,
was
but like,
kind of a bummer.
if it was longer, like the only thing you could really do is like add different stencils and different areas, which then would just give you more of the same to do.
Well, you would, more puzzles, more genie interaction, coming up with more genies that have different powers, more variety, basically, with your art that you're creating.
Yeah, so one
maybe
tiny
your
little...
trees come to life and you can climb up them, right?
That'd be pretty cool. So, like, one tiny little detail I think may have been missed in this game was the fact that, like, you had to draw the stencils. Like, you couldn't, like, just pull out a line or do a circle and then put something inside of said circle. Like, you had to do what the stencils were, and that's like the one sort of issue I had.
I see what you're saying, but the amount of... I think that would just be too much for someone to program and kind of have them interact on the wall and come to life with what you do. Because, like, the game Dreams, I've been waiting on for seemingly over 2 years, because it just keeps getting pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. That's what that game is. And that's taking an ungodly amount of time for development. So... if you wanted something like that, Concrete Genie would have never come out, and it wouldn't have worked. Like, it would have been broken. What I agree with their decision to have the preconceived art that you throw on a wall and it interacts. I think it should have interacted physically in the world to solve puzzles. You draw, kind of like how you got to draw a genie on the wall to interact for some of the puzzles, but they're very simplistic.
Yeah, so like this Genie, the red ones burn, the blue ones like are wind, and the yellow ones are electric.
Yeah, it's super simplistic. I really think it was highly missed of the amount of interaction your art should have done in the world to help solve puzzles, traverse the open world. The amount of creativity is I don't want to say it's limited in your creativity. You need to go to a wall, you need to cover it, a certain percentage, and then that's all you need to do. And you don't have to do, like, the whole city. You just do the specific walls that the game wants you to do. And then there's a tiny stealth element with the bullies. I didn't mind those parts of the game. I thought that was the right decision. But with the actual game interaction, I just don't think it was enough for me.
Fair enough.
Especially the puzzles.
Just out of curiosity, did you get caught by the bullies at all?
Oh, yeah.
What happens? Because I never did.
Oh, kick your ass.
Nice.
They throw you in a dumpster.
Of course they do.
Yeah.
Because it was
Zane
really
style.
easy to avoid them. Just get on a roof and yell.
Well, yeah, that, but You didn't want it. You didn't want to see what happens when you get caught.
Nah, never crossed my mind. But you just get thrown in a dumpster, do you?
Yeah.
That's pretty.
You're
cool.
just like, ha.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're bullies. What are they gonna do? Steal your lunch money, give you a swirly? That would have been funny.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's not supposed to be there anyway. Like, he doesn't know from his mum. It's like, don't go to this area of town.
Well, he went on the wrong side of the railroad tracks, and there you go.
Yeah. Alrighty. So, on to potentially the biggest game of the month, which I would like to hear your thoughts on first. The Outer Worlds.
Yes, game by Obsidian, the former Fallout New Vegas guys, the former Bethesda developers that cut
now,
ship.
I think they're owned by Microsoft now, aren't they?
I think they're their own thing because they came out on all platforms. Outer Worlds.
Yeah, I still think they're like got some deal with Microsoft, which is why it was on Game Pass or something. I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, that's how I'm playing the game. It's on Game Pass. That's how I got the Outer Worlds. I'm like 12 hours into the game. I would say story-wise, I'm 40% through. I'm definitely not halfway through. I'm just under it. I'm doing a lot of the side missions, which, if you know me, Jay, I usually don't do side missions, like ever. I've already given up doing side missions in Death Stranding.
That's a spoiler for next month.
That is a spoiler. Well, it's not a spoiler for next month, but so the Outer Worlds is you're okay, it's basically Fallout but now space.
Correct.
Instead of a vault, you're in a cryopod, and this kooky scientist guy busts you out because what happens is people are colonizing space, and they send out an expedition. The expedition gets lost, and the scientist finds the expedition. Kind of hints that the corporation knows exactly where you are, but they just don't want to revive you guys out of your cryostasis.
Just to back up for 2 seconds here, no, Obsidian is owned by parent companies Xbox Game Studios.
Oh, well, okay.
Cool, moving on.
Even though it's also on PS4 and whatever.
Look, that doesn't matter. I was just clarifying that I was right. It doesn't happen very often on here.
Well, okay. So this kooky scientist, your whole objective is to basically help this guy get resources so he can revive your fellow colonists, and you just kind of go with it because you're the more or less silent protagonist that you do talk, but it's all through the text dialogue. You have a Wicked Witch of the East kind of moment of you falling. The spaceship falls on the dude, and you kind of take his resources and you go into town. And this is basically the game from there, is you go to a town on different worlds, and each town has its own crisis that needs to be solved through various tasks, and you're given kind of a variety of options how to solve these problems in town. So the first one you come across, there's a section of the people that kind of mutinied outside of the town and started their own city just outside the limits, and they siphoned off a generator of sorts, thermogenerator. So you're given 2 options to divert the power back towards the people that are owned by the corporation, or divert the power towards the deserters. Depending on your choice, you can then do a number of different actions to try to bring the deserters back, kill everybody, side with the corporation. Your choices matter in this game, which I really, really appreciate. You can play it however you want, which is really nice. Just like in Fallout New Vegas, there's a slowdown system, and you can pick body parts apart. They justify this with, it's a side effect from cryostasis. You just go with it. It's like, okay, good enough for me, I suppose.
Seems legit.
And on your journey, you interact with people that will give you side missions. Some of these side missions turn out to be kind of give you hints for main missions to help you out on the journey. So, and they do it, and they place them in a way where, so for example, your first guy you come across as you're getting into town. He's a gravedigger, and you think you're led to believe it's a main mission in the game. What it is actually is a side mission that it's tricking you into talking to all these different people. And when you talk to all these people, each of those people that the gravedigger wants to get their kind of payment for, because they have to pay gravesite fees, are actually hints and interactions to get a companion, your first one. So a companion will join you on your journey and in the fights. They will get you weaponry that's useful for going to certain areas in later main missions to help fight stronger enemies. So everything's connected to each other in useful ways, and the way the game gets you to go through those useful ways is very intuitive, and it makes sense. I think it's something I wish Nier Automata did. I thought that's what that game was missing, right?
Right.
So Outer Worlds is, and the dialogue is so good in Outer Worlds. It's unique, it's witty, it makes sense towards everything. Your companions have their own characters. Now, is it the best looking game out there? Is it the best looking game in 2019? No, right? But it doesn't need to be. It's very much acceptable. Everything runs smooth. The game doesn't crash. However, I will say I did come across a bug. So I put the game on a medium difficulty, right? And I played this day one when it came out. Apparently, Jay, there's a level called Supernova, which is, let's call it very hard. You have very easy, medium, hard, very hard. Supernova is its very hard level. And that functions with your companions in permadeath mode. So if your companions die in a fight, they die permanently. Well, even though I was on medium, I had my first companion, Pavardi, I believe that's how you pronounce her name. She died in the fight, and I went, "Are you gonna get up? Okay, maybe I revive her? No? Well, fuck, what do? Is she just dead? Just wouldn't get up. I cleared all the enemies out. I'm like, maybe that'll do something. Maybe they'll give me maybe it's just part of the game where, once I clear this first area out, nothing. She was just dead. So I went, well, fuck, I'm not gonna let that happen. So I reloaded my previous save, and I got to play. I completely changed my play style. You can go into the character menu and have them play between aggressive, defensive, where they stand near you, away from you, how they act if someone's shooting at them. You have certain D-pad options where you could activate your character for their special weapons. So Pavardi has a big ground pound attack, and all your companions have kind of a stun attack, basically.
Yep.
And you can power up your companions through its leveling system in the game. Excuse me. Jay, why don't you talk while I drink some water and stuff?
Yeah, so each companion's got a leveling up system, which makes them get more things like abilities, or at least I'm pretty sure it's abilities, and just get stronger and stuff in their combat style. I'm just going to stall for a bit more time while JD dies and drinks some water, and I'm just finding this game lacking something. And I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but I'm not enjoying it. And don't you jump in now and say it's my setup, because I've moved setups to have everything easier to do. I'm just not finding the motivation in the game to feel motivated to do anything.
Are you focusing too much on the side missions, or are you trying to do main mission stuff?
Doing a mix of everything,
advance the story. You're what?
Doing a mix of everything.
Okay, that's kind of how I'm playing.
I'm just I wanted to like this game. I really did. I'm just not liking it as much as I probably should, and I'm just down on it. And like I said, I think it's just a lack of motivation. It doesn't feel like, in my opinion, that there's any sense of urgency to do anything.
No, there certainly is not. It really wants you to go at your own pace. So, for example, a week ago, I went, you know what? I want to advance the story right now. And that's what I want to focus on. the amount of missions you can get could kind of get overwhelming, and you don't know where to focus.
Yep, 100%.
So luckily you can go into the menu, and there's an option to organize your missions based on planet, based on and based on town, and based on urgency, and importance. So that's really nice. When I discovered that got me through a lot of things. Through your leveling system, you can actually make your companions much stronger, which I did. That was like one of the first things I leveled up in the game. So you level everything. What happens is you get a skill point. You get skill points. You get 10 per level, and then you also get perks. And
which is
kind
every
of one of
two
the more
levels, isn't it?
Yes, every other level. And
like
one of
classic
the
Fallout 3 or Fallout Universe, whichever. Yeah.
So one of the more unique things is, as you play the game, you can come across defects in your character. So, like, I went to a fight and I used too much, health gas. You put an oxygen mask to your face, and that gives you health. Well, you can actually overdose on the gas, and it depletes your stats by 1/3. And if you keep doing it, it's 2/3. It just keeps lowering your stats, and then a screen will come up and goes, you use so much gas in your previous 2 fights, you have the option to make your character a drug addict to lower your stats. But by accepting your character default, it gives you a perk that it gives you a perk point that you can use to use in that menu.
So can you then cure your drug addiction like you can in Fallout with a dick doll or anything like that, or not?
No, you have this permanent thing. So one option came where I could have a phobia of these creatures, right? Or a phobia of the robots, and I was like, fuck, I don't want to phobia that. That's these are the main enemies in the game, essentially. That's a dumb decision. So you can just decline it. It's fine. So I thought that was kind of a funny little tidbit in the game that you can do. It's like, man, I wish I could get this perk sooner. Well, I mean, just accept the phobia and
just accept everything and make your character just terrified of everything and addicted to all kinds of things under the sun.
So, I think I have my character scared of heights or something.
What does that do? Does it affect your aim? Does it, what does it do?
If I get to, a certain elevation of the game, then some of my stats go down or something. I forget which which the description is. It's been a couple weeks since I played. A week and a half? No, it's only been a week.
Which starting thing did you choose? Did you go mechanic? Do you go jack of all trades? When you're choosing your character,
a medical engineer is what I went with.
Right, because I think I just went with jack of all trades because that's usually what I tend to play as.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter what you choose. You just get 10 bonus points essentially for whatever stat line you choose. So my medical and engineering thing were just 10 up from each other. When you upgrade certain stats, once they get to level 50, then because everything's in groups of 3, so when you get to level 50, then you can only do them singular instead of in those groups of 3 from there, which I thought was interesting. Just from an upgrade standpoint. Now you're really having to pick and choose between your... my melee, I haven't upgraded it at all in the entire game.
See, I'm finding melee to be the better option over the gunplay. Interesting.
Well, the gunplay is nothing totally special, right?
It's not.
Yeah.
I find it's oddly satisfying to just use swords and clubs and stuff.
Yeah, maybe that would be one way to go. I don't know. No reason to get close to an enemy when I have companions that just blast their way through everything.
Yeah, each to their own, I guess.
Special attack. Each companion has a special attack. It's that stun ability I mentioned earlier. I find the game very relaxing. I find it like a relaxing Borderlands, basically.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. I find it kind of dull, but hey, that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, you really got to be into the dialogue and its witty humor. I feel, because it's not a game that is going to like get your adrenaline pumping by any means.
Nah, it's not. Like, maybe in my head I was comparing this way too much to Fallout New Vegas when it was coming out.
Well, I think it's better than Fallout New Vegas.
I think Fallout New Vegas is better. Like, I don't know.
Well, performance-wise, it certainly isn't.
Well, Bethesda have a certain charm about their
don't even go
play
there.
stuff. Dude, they're not bugs, they're features.
Broken.
What do you want about? It's like freaking Dark Souls.
Shut up.
Are you going to get Fallout FU first?
No, I don't want to become a Fallout first slave.
Dude, it's so good because people are like running around killing everyone with that like friggin' marker. It's so good. So good.
Yeah, needs to happen.
It does, because those people should not be supporting a broken mess.
Well, why are those people even playing the game still in the first place, is my question.
Well, the same thing could be said for, what is it, Final Fantasy XI?
Well, Final Fantasy XI's a good game.
It is, but like, it's a bit past
You
its
can play
prime.
good games forever.
Alright, fine. Fine. Alright.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough with all the games that have come out this year. I will say, we just did the Retro Gaming podcast, Jay, and when I was just kind of going through the years and marking down the best games of the last decade, I came to 2019. I went, there's a lot of good games that have come out this year, but
are any of them not great?
Right. I'm like, man, am I gonna look like last year? Like, oh my god, or 2 years ago. Because last year we got God of War, Valhalla, Monster Hunter World, Red Dead Redemption 2, Celeste. 2 years ago we got Odyssey, Horizon Zero Dawn, Breath of the Wild.
Monster Hunter was that year too, wasn't it?
Monster Hunter was last year.
My bad.
This year, I'm like, is anything kind of at that level, right? That kind of 95 out of 100, not just a 90, right? And I just couldn't really pinpoint a game or two that reached that level. Does this make sense?
If we're including remakes, I'll chuck Resident Evil 2 in there, but like, there's been good games. It's just, like as you said, nothing great.
Nothing that's going to define the decade kind of situation. You're not going to look back and go, oh man, that game in 2019, that's it. I'm like, I was thinking at the beginning of the Outer Worlds, it could reach that. But yeah, the more I play, I'm like, you know what? I'm getting kind of on your side, Jay, with the whole, maybe there should be some adrenaline sections. I will say this, I did play a companion story. So it's kind of a side mission of sorts, where you can focus on a companion you get and you play their story out. So like Pavardi realizes that she's basically a lesbian, but she doesn't like the sexual interaction. She doesn't feel that, right? So she's kind of having an existential crisis in the dialogue and how she's speaking. The voice acting is really good. So there's that. But another companion, she wants to find kind of one of her teams that got lost, and you're finding situations that they were in. She wants to give them proper burials, and there was one mission where they came across a queen, whatever the creature is, and so you're going to collect a lot of the bodies and their name tags, and you go before we bury them and give them proper burial, we got to kill this fucking queen, right? And in my head, I was like, okay, it's just going to be kind of a slightly bigger of these things. Dude, this thing's like 3 stories tall. It's a giant, like, praying mantis creature that spits acid at you and gets all over your body, and you hear your character scream. There's like 50 smaller, regular-sized of the same creature, like, scurrying around it, so that was an adrenaline-packed fight. That was awesome.
Would you like a phobia of the queen? Hell yes, I would.
That's actually what happened at the end of the fight, is it offered me a phobia, like, of that particular creature, and I went, hell yeah, I want to accept that. Give me that perk. So now I have a phobia of that creature.
Like, just the queen, or of, like, the whole species?
The whole species.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm like, yeah, because that fight was crazy, and so like there are fun things like that in the game. They do exist. It just took a little while to get to a moment like that, but that was kind of at the end of a companion story, so it was a big payoff for it. So for kind of the main, let's call them quote unquote main side missions, there are payoffs to it. So I gotta give the Outer Worlds some credit to that. Nier Automata had some side missions like that, but you couldn't pinpoint which side mission to take precedence over another. While in the Outer Worlds, I totally can, because who's part of your team? Your companions, your friends, right? Well, I want to play out my friend's story, not this random dude in the barber shop and he can't pay his bill on time. Like,
well, yeah, but dude,
you can differentiate also between.
Nier Automata also had like 87 endings.
It did. So I guess we'll see.
It did.
One thing that really bothers me though in the Outer Worlds is the text is fucking small.
Yeah, that's why I've had to change my setup.
Yeah,
I could not see what the hell I was agreeing to.
Yeah.
God knows, I might have some phobias.
I can say this right now. Death Stranding's text is like even smaller. It's very irritating.
Freaking tastic.
Yeah, I just found myself going through the menus. Just a little spoiler, Jay. I did a mission and thought I picked up the fucking item, and so I went all the way back to a point and then it's like, what do you mean it's not in my inventory? I thought I picked that shit up. Like, fuck, the text is so small I couldn't read that I didn't actually pick it up. Luckily, nothing like that has happened in the Outer Worlds. But the text is small. The text is small.
Brilliant. So, my dude, before we get into the last two games here, freaking, you're enjoying the Outer Worlds, though.
Yes, I am. Where it's going to fall on my Game of the Year list is going to take a lot of thought. I think we're just going to go through... We're going to have a shorter Game of the Year list this year. We're just going to go through the games that we played. And we've had to have covered it on the podcast for it to qualify.
Oh, okay.
And then we just say our top 10 and go through why.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to do the same thing for wrestling coming up, and I'm having a hard time figuring out a top 10. I've got a 5. I'm just working out what the other matches are.
Well, maybe you should look at my list. I've been keeping track all damn year.
Yeah, I know. You've got
it's going to be a top
wrestlers thing too.
Yeah, it's going to be a top 40 list.
But like, are you talking like your favorite matches of the year, or like what, in your opinion, objectively is the best matches of the year?
What, in my opinion, objectively the best matches of the year? It's going to be a top 40. They're split in between. Boy, talk about plugging the wrestling podcast, RedLeafRetrocast. Go check that out. As you know, I do I have AEW WWE as a tier. I have New Japan, like CMLL, Ring of Honor, that whole partnership as another tier, and then the indie tier, right? Basically everything else. So that involves like Dragon Gate, OTT, MLW, those kind of companies. And then I have a women's tier for women's matches, where intergender matches play. You know what? I might just figure out the top 10 intergender matches that I've seen and make that like 41 through 50.
Is David Starr in that match with these one from
Mercedes
Beyond?
Martinez?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good match. But anyways,
it was very good. He decapitated her with his forearm.
You know what? Forget it. I'll just do the way it is. It's just 40 matches. Those are my top. What I do combine is if you've had a feud, so that requires multiple matches. I just kind of put that together as one match.
Yeah, and that would help in a very big regard with OTT with Devil vs. Star. Yeah, like, is the match from January better than the match from a few weeks ago? I personally think it is, but that's just my opinion.
But it is the feud at the end of the day if you have multiple matches, right? Like,
yeah.
Did these two guys put together a series of matches against each other? Anyways, we're getting a little off topic.
Walter's involved in that too, but
that would be considered a separate match, even though it's kind of a trifecta feud.
Yeah. But anyway, look, let's just move on before we talk wrestling for too long, because we've got to do that here soon anyway.
Yeah.
That's a plug for my podcast. Smack it down.
Hey. Good plug.
Yeah, thank you. Just watch it get edited out now. That's how you do it. So, dude, next up on the list is MediEvil, and this is one of the games you spoke about with your ma'am.
Yes, these last two, once Jay and I are done talking, it'll cut to my mom and I talking about MediEvil and Luigi's Mansion 3. But first, Jay, you and I gotta talk MediEvil.
Dude, love this game. Got a certain charm about it. However, scarecrows can go die in a ditch.
Ah, yes. Yes, they suck.
Yes, they do. Indeed, they do. Hey, are we doing a remake category for games of the year, or do these just not count?
You know, they'll count. I can say right now, if it's a remake, for this year in particular, because a lot of these remakes, like, so much time has passed between them. Unlike, say, The Last of Us and Last of Us Remastered. Like, come on now.
Yeah, well, okay, like, I'm talking specifically like MediEvil, Resident Evil 2, these sorts of remakes.
Yeah, I mean, in previous years I hadn't put on, like, the Crash Bandicoot Trifecta remake or the Ratchet and Clank remake. I didn't put that in my games of the year.
Spyro Reignited sort of thing.
Yeah, I didn't do that. I think this year, I guess we will.
We've had 3 really good remakes, in my opinion, this year. We've had, like, this, CTR, and Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, I mean, you can, but what I'm probably going to do is, if there's a game I think is, like, as good, or maybe even slightly worse, or, you know, if it's anywhere close, I'm putting the remake lower, just because the game already existed prior to the year.
Fair enough.
I will admit that the game's good.
Yeah, okay. So, why don't we let the people decide? Like, email the email address in the description below and let us know what you think. Like, should remakes be included in the Game of the Year thing at the end of the year?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to. We've done that previous years, but yeah, we'll see if anyone answers.
True. Anyway, moving on. But yeah, so dude, scarecrows can go screw themselves. Don't like
so
them.
Sir Daniel Fortescue has returned from the far, far year of 1998, I believe.
Well, or is it 2006? Because this is technically the second remake of this game.
It is the second remake, yes. They did have the PSP remake, but gotta say, MediEvil on the PS4, I liked it way more than the PSP remake, and outstandingly more than the PlayStation game. That we, in fact, covered on the RedLeafRetrocast, where the controls alone and the camera are so annoying, it kind of makes the game you don't want to play it.
It helps having the additional analog stick being able to reposition things.
Oh! Makes the game playable.
It sure does. But dude, I forgot how friggin' hard this game was. Now, either it's hard or I suck, and I can't quite work out which one it is.
I would say up until the scarecrows, the game is not hard. Although, there is a couple sections where I could see people dying quite a lot. Like with the falling boulders going up the hill.
Yeah, stuff that part.
There is still moments where you can immediately lose a life with an instant death. Like falling in water, falling in a lava pit kind of situation. The game is very reliable to its past. And a lot of, I have read reviews that have criticized the game for being as reliable as it is. But
it's a remake. It should be a remake.
Right, so that's what... I don't think you can negatively criticize MediEvil for doing it when Crash and Spyro did the same thing. I just don't get it, right? Why would MediEvil be different? Why would that be considered different? What they did change was the camera angle and kind of an auto lock-on with the arrows and knives. So
no, you see, right? The thing is, MediEvil isn't as popular as Spyro and Crash.
Okay, so it's more prone to criticism because it's not the beloved
Correct.
franchise.
It's more of an occult, sort of cult classic.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, if that's their reason, they should admit it.
Well, dude, we're talking about like IGN and stuff. Like they're not going to do that. Right.
Yeah. No.
Come here for an unbiased opinion of a good remake that still kicks my ass and I suck.
I have a lot of fun with this. Daniel Fortescue, the story is he is considered a hero of the past in a battle against an evil wizard that's trying to raise an undead army. In reality, he got an arrow shot through his eye and died. He was the
instantaneously,
first one.
in the first rush.
The first rush, he was the first one to die, and then all of his people that were involved have weapons. So it's a level like Crash Bandicoot on an overworld, right? And there's a central world called the Hall of Heroes. And what happens in between, after you do 2 or 3 levels, let's call it, you get the next weapon to advance further.
If you fill the chalice.
Well, that is a goal of the level to kind of...
If you find the chalice.
I didn't have a problem finding the chalices on the world. The levels aren't humongous by any means. So
that is correct.
Yeah, and I did play the game kind of at my own pace. I was very thorough about a lot of things because I was just having fun with it. I think what the biggest thing this game was lacking was the teaching of the controls. In that aspect, it was too retro and true to its past, right?
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is you need to hold down a weapon to charge it and use it, or hold down a button to charge the weapon, and that'll give it a power attack. Well, if you don't really discover that on your own, or play with the buttons a long time, you'll never discover that. And I actually played up until the Scarecrow section without powering up my weapon once.
Did you? I thought I told you one of the books.
Maybe?
I think
Maybe
it
I
does.
just forgot about it. I know the first book on the Scarecrow level, it told you to use the dash, right? And you can watch the stream where I did stream this, and I'm like reading the book, and I go, well, how do you dash? Because I know I got it. It said I got the ability
from the wolves.
Yeah, I got the ability to dash, but it never taught me how to dash, and I had to look up online how to exactly pull off the dash attack so I could get past the scarecrows.
How do I dash?
How do I dash? Yeah, and it actually kept coming up with the... That's a legit
question. How do I dash?
If I remember, it's double tap. You have to double tap X and then hit forward to actually dash. It's not just double tap X and go.
But sure.
Yeah, it's not intuitive by any means. So a huge misstep was definitely just inputting the tech in those books. The text of how to pull off the attack would have been fine, right?
Well, maybe after you unlock the ability from the dash with the wolves, they tell you how to freaking dash.
Yeah, but let's say you just turn your head for a second or someone's talking to you. Then you'll never see it again. That's why I'm saying put it in the books, like in the very next level after it, plus including telling you how to do it after the end of the boss battle.
Yeah, I can see that.
There's no reason not to.
Yeah, no, that is true. I guess probably keep it faithful to the original version to a certain extent, where it is hard AF.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like the Mario 64 complaints, like, how do you triple jump?
You don't. You don't need to.
You don't know that you don't need to.
That is, well, I mean, you just gotta jump,
if you want to get 1 star, you do have to know how to do that. The game never teaches you.
Do you? Which star's that?
The one on the ice level. You think you have to wall jump, but you actually triple jump up.
I don't remember that, and I'm pretty sure 100% of that game, but okay.
Yeah. So, MediEvil, you go through a number of levels. Once you kill a certain number of enemies, you will fill up a meter. When you get it to 100%, you will unlock the chalice that will unlock your entry into the Hall of Heroes for that level. And that will gain you access to the one of Fortescue's friends of the past, an actual hero with their unique weapon. There's a bow and arrow, there's a sledgehammer, so on and so forth. And that will... you don't have to backtrack past levels to unlock every other items and whatnot. But, if you want to 100%, you can. More or less, it's supposed to help you on your journey on the harder levels. So the sledgehammer will kill enemies in one hit rather than two.
Also,
it will break
is
boulders.
A more useful version of the club.
Right.
Except you just can't burn it.
Right, and some of the weapons have weapon damage where they can break. Essentially, you'll find yourself running out of the throwing knives or arrows, and you have to use the sparse currency to buy them. So it kind of encourages you to be
A bit thorough.
a bit conservative with how you spend your money.
But also
game.
thorough in the regard of being able to unlock these other weapons.
Yeah. The animations in the game are up because, of course they are. It's 2019. It's not 1998 anymore. And I think the colors are more crisp, and it does everything it needs to do. I like MediEvil.
I also like MediEvil. Even though it's hard.
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah. Shut up. I can suck at the game.
No, it's tough. It's tough. It's very brutal at times. Like, there is I found a slight delay on pulling up the shield in its controls. So, like, a football player, football zombie skeleton dude will pop up out of the ground and charge at your ass faster than you can react / press the button, and that lag input to bring the shield up is always late in blocking the football player. And the way that dude tackles you, it actually breaks your shield like almost immediately because it goes and takes it all down. Kind of like when you run into a boulder, it'll immediately snap your shield.
Yeah,
right?
Those football player zombies friggin' hurt.
Yeah. I think moments like that is what people criticize the game the most about. I can almost assuredly it's moments like that.
But, JD, it's faithful to its adaptation.
I mean, that is very faithful to its adaptation. Those things were dicks.
They sure were.
But that's where the game's difficulty lies. If I can totally see if the game didn't do those things, the game would be insanely easy.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, moving on to the final game of the podcast, also known as one that you are going to be discussing with your mum, Luigi's Hotel 1.
Well, I mean, Dark Moon exists.
Yeah, okay, so Luigi's Hotel 2?
Sure.
Was Dark Moon a hotel?
I don't remember. I never played Dark Moon.
This is the first Luigi's Mansion game I've actually played.
Well, we played the first one for the podcast not too long ago, actually. So I was in Luigi's Mansion, like, I was in the zone, man. I played this game in a weekend. I beat it.
Cool. I have problems with the freaking janitor.
Oh.
I can't do it,
So-
man. My brain doesn't function the way it's supposed to do.
You're Luigi, you're heading to a hotel that you were invited to, and haha, it's a trap the whole time from evil hotel manager lady. And she has in the middle of the night, she captures all your friends, Mario, Peach, and a few of the Toads that come along on the journey. And you're Luigi, you have escaped via the ghost dog that accompanies you. And he kind of guides your way to certain aspects of the game. Each floor of the hotel functions as a level in itself. Complete the hotel floor's task, each ending with a boss fight, to collect the button to get to the next floor in the hotel and continue on your journey. It's that simple. You have a vacuum to suck up the ghosts, and it has also a blow ability, which I don't recall ever using in the game. Not really, anyways.
You kind of have to in this one, a certain part.
Couple, I guess. I don't recall. And you have a flashlight to stun the ghosts.
And a black light to see all the stains in the hotel rooms.
Yes, there's a wavy Aurora Borealis blacklight.
So before we get into this, can I just give someone a shout out very quickly or not?
Yeah, go for it.
So I was talking to one of my friends who lives in Florida. Very nice guy. He actually bought me this game.
Clearly a fan of the podcast and wanted you to play it.
Well, clearly, even though he doesn't know.
I'm gonna remember it that way, Jay.
Okay, that's fine. But yeah, I want to give a shout out to my friend Mike, because Mike, dude, you did a very, very good thing introducing me to a franchise which I probably never would have played. And that's not for me not liking Mario. I just never would have played this. I guess it's just one of those things I missed. Like, we've all missed a game here and there, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's happened.
Yeah. So yeah, Mike, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. If you want to follow him on Twitter, his Twitter is XADEPSYCONIC. I don't know how to say that thing, but something like that, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Cool. So what do you think of Luigi?
I love the Luigi aspect of the game. This is what I thought Concrete Genie was kind of lacking with its puzzles. It was just lacking a little bit of that interaction. You have Luigi, who's a gooey clone of Luigi, and he functions to go through various puzzles on the floors. He can go through bars and the like, slip through gratings, go to lower levels. They're not the most complicated puzzles in the world, but you use Luigi to get through that and go back and forth between Luigi and Luigi. He has a vacuum as well and a light.
He does. He pretty much controls the exact same way.
Yeah, and it's. I thought everything about the game was very intuitive, but you had an issue with some of the controls.
I have an issue with one fight, and that is the freaking janitor in the bloody sub-basement 2.
Okay.
With the friggin' rubber duck thing. And did you know I'm still on that boss fight and I go die in a ditch? Just like the friggin'...
I didn't know you were still on
just
that.
like the scarecrows.
So, one thing the game encourages is these golden bones, right? And you can... I never found myself short of money.
Yeah, no, neither did I.
I think at one point I had 50,000 coins. And I would just... if you want to 100% the game, you can totally do that. That's there's a Boo ghost. King Boo returns, by the way. That's the whole plot is the hotel lady wants to bring back King Boo.
Oh, hey, quick question regarding the boos. You know the first one that you find in the basement when you get the Boo Seeker thing?
Yeah.
Mine never showed up. Like, I spotted him, and then he just disappeared. I never got to fight him, and I've watched YouTube stuff to make sure, like, I was doing the right thing.
So what happens with the boos is your controller will vibrate, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you approach a boo. So you activate him, and if you don't activate the right place he's hiding, he'll pop up, laugh at you, and go to a separate area of the floor that you have to find him again.
Right, okay.
It's really annoying because the vibration doesn't vary enough so I'll give you an example. On, I think it was like floor 3 or 4, when there's kind of a food court area, right? There's let's call it the left section and the right section. The left section entails going into the security guard's office using Luigi, and you're in the little back area, and the controller's vibrating, and it's supposed to function where it vibrates real hard when you find Boo in the right place. However, he'll be hiding in, like, 3 spots kind of next to each other, and the vibration doesn't vary enough for you to know which of those 3 possible places he's hiding at. So you have a 1 in 3 chance of picking the right place, correct? Follow me so far?
Correct, yes.
So if you don't pick the right place, he laughs at you and then goes to a different area. So now I'm going to the right-hand side, which entails going up to a telephone. So there's 2 telephones and a trash can, and they're, again, right next to each other. And no matter how closer you get Luigi to any of the 2 telephones or the trash can, it vibrates the same. So you, again, have a 1 in 3 shot at getting it correct. So if you just have bad luck, like I did in that instance, you're just going back and forth for like 20 minutes until you finally guess the right place he's hiding. and you're just like, all right, is the right phone this time? Is the right phone this time? Is the right phone this? And
Does it
it's just
require
got
me
super
then
annoying.
to have to buy the thingy, like for each different time I attempt it?
Well, no, he's always going to be in like that same area each time. It does help. So you can go to Professor, what's his name? Igor? Professor Baby.
Professor something like that.
Professor Old Baby. So you can use money you collect to just give you the location of the boo on each floor, and it'll track him, but it won't tell you those 3 places he's at. It'll just tell you that area he's
wait,
at.
I bought one of those. Is it randomly assigned? Because I haven't had it pop up yet.
Well, it's going to show you what floor he's on, and then you pull up the map, right, of that floor, and it'll show you the area that he's at. It'll like whichever room he's in.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, you can buy golden bones, and what those are revives. So if you die at any point in the level or the boss fight, your dog will eat the bone, and then he'll kind of nudge you back to life. And as the more you play the game, you'll get like 3, 4, 5, 7 bones. So normally, what happened to me was I'd get to a boss fight, die once, figure out the trick to beating the boss, and move along. And then before I go to the next floor, I'd go get another golden bone or 2, and then go to the next floor and
yeah,
the boss fight, and that's it.
That pretty much sums it up for me as well.
Yep. So I was never short on. So the I'll tell you right now, if you 100% complete the game, find all the boos and get all the gems that are on levels, and the gems themselves are kind of a mini puzzle in themselves.
True.
You get a special item to use in the game, but because you got to the end of the game, right, and got all the stuff, you have no reason to like have fun with this item. So there's no like extra cutscene, there's no like artwork you unlock for completing like 100%ing the game. So just don't do that. Don't waste your time.
Hey, what are the special ghosts? Because like there's a boss ghost, boo ghost, like common ghost, blah blah blah. There's also the special ghosts.
Yeah, there's just more hidden things.
Okay, I haven't had any of those pop up yet.
Yeah, you'll find a couple.
Did you kill the director?
I did not kill the director.
You didn't 100% the game then?
Well, I had no interest. I was curious and looked it up because I was like, do I need to... Because I was vastly enjoying the game, and after I had a couple of experiences with the 1 in 3 chance of the boo. I'm like, oh my god, if I'm going to have to do this for like 18 floors, I'm going to lose my fucking mind, right? And if there's no payoff, no real payoff, then I don't want to do that. And I looked it up, and they're like, yeah, you just get like an item, but because you basically did everything already, the item is kind of worthless. It's not a payoff, so...
Fair enough.
But yeah, I didn't kill the director. He's just a man that wants to make a movie, bro.
I killed the director. He's a ghost. He needs to get vacuumed. But then again, I guess the dog's a ghost too, but he doesn't get vacuumed. Maybe I'm racist against like non-dog ghosts.
I mean, those ghosts are blue or pink or whatever, so...
Yeah, I guess so.
Maybe it's because the dog is white.
No, I'm not going to say my joke. Moving on.
Yeah, I was trying to lead you into something hard.
I know you were. I was going to say, you know what I was going to say too.
So you're having problem with this boss fight because there are moments that I like the ghost with the piano, and the piano's just going crazy along the floor. There were times I'm like, how am I supposed to dodge these 2 attacks? It's spitting out bombs, and it closes its door too quick than I can aim at the piano to shoot the bomb in it. I only died once, but it was just like so long because I just kept missing and missing. I'm like, So I could see something like that happening with you in the inner tube fight.
I just don't like the controls of the inner tube fight.
So what are you... So for those that aren't aware, the inner tube fight, you go in a basement, you're fighting the janitor, basically, of the sub-basement, and you go into a pool, and the pool's surrounded by spikes. So what you have to do is wait for the janitor in his inner tube to swing the knife. He misses, he spins around for a bit. He also throws mines out. So you have to suck your way in between mines, suck the inner tube into your vacuum, and then spit the dude out into the spike wall. Then you have to suck your way quickly over to the ladder to get out of the water, run all the way to wherever he landed, and then you beat him up right there. So, what part are you having problem with the most? Going in between the mines?
The inner tube's controls, I don't like them.
You just point and suck towards the dude.
I have a problem with fights in games, and just parts in games in general, where they change the controls of the game for a gimmicky boss. This is a gimmicky boss.
Well, you have two options. You can either go inverted with pushing, blowing the air, in which you have to be then turned around, obviously, or you can use the other button to suck and pull yourself towards the boss.
Maybe I gotta start sucking then. Yes, I said that.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, because I tried blowing at first too, and the blowing was too fast. So I would hit a mine, or I would bounce off the dude and he'd hit me, and then I'd bounce into the wall, and the inner tube would explode. So then you'd have to go back on land, blow a new inner tube, and then throw it back in the water, kind of situation. So I found sucking to be much more easy to control. It was slower. I was able to avoid the mines, and it was easy street. And then also, because you're sucking, once you get close to him, you don't have to turn the inner tube around to get to suck into your vacuum.
Right. I get you. I guess, for whatever reason, my brain doesn't function the way it wants me to, but that's fine. Yeah. Look, I'll give it another go. I want to finish this game. It's a lot of fun.
It's a total blast. It deserves all the praise. Each level is its own little world. There's level 13, which I found funny. I thought they were going to skip floor 13 because that's unlucky in hotels.
Yeah.
So if you ever go in a hotel, there usually isn't a floor 13. It goes 12, 14.
I never noticed that, but okay.
Yeah. Yep. So, there's a whole stage that's Egypt, and you're going through sarcophagi and burial chambers, and there's a little puzzle. I will say I had the most trouble, I think, overall on a floor, and that was the Egyptian stage.
I don't think I'm up to that yet.
Yeah. I came across a massive bug on that stage, too, where I had to restart the whole floor, or at least the boss fight. Yeah, it was the boss fight. It saved right before the boss fight. Where the Egyptian boss is made out of all the sand that's on the level, so the sand mechanics were really annoying. So you have to kind of suck or blow the sand away of the creature and ruin its under foundation, right? So what ended up happening was whenever I would get too close to a wall, and I would blow, and as I'm going through the boss fight and blowing the foundation away, it hit a wall, and then it would just freeze, and the boss wouldn't move anymore. And I couldn't blow any more sand away or anything.
Huh.
It was a big bug. I encountered that 3 times in a row. I'm like, fuck. So I'm trying to stay near the center, and doing that, it just took forever because then the boss wouldn't hit anything and stop, and I'd be able to do more, blow away more sand more quickly.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah. It was a tough fight. I will say that was my toughest one just because of all that rigmarole I had to do.
Fair enough.
And the puzzles in that chamber was quite annoying, I will say. So that was my least favorite floor, by any means, even though it was probably the most unique.
Yeah.
Well,
look, I'm enjoying the game. As I said, I've got to get back to it. But I think that kind of rounds us out for the month.
It does. And we'll take like a 30-minute break and then go do your podcast.
Woo! Yeah. Alright, guys, well, be sure to come back next month when we are covering the November games. Are you getting Sword or Shield?
I'm going to demo the game for like 2 hours.
Are you going to play Sword or Shield?
Sword.
Good, because I'm getting Shield, and we can talk about the differences in the versions.
Yes.
I need Kev to get Sword, but he's not getting Sword.
We'll be talking Need for Speed Heat, which I've already played. Didn't like it.
Gross.
Hint, hint. Shenmue 3 hopefully is going to come out.
Well, time will tell.
Star Wars.
Apparently it's like it should have been made back with Shenmue 2 and that.
Yeah, I read that whole article. It looks like it's made in 2003. But
Cool.
they did that on purpose.
Well, why complain?
Hey, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Pokemon Sword Shield, and Death Stranding. Now I'll pass it on to me and my mother, talking MediEvil and Luigi's Mansion 3. Get her thoughts, and that'll round the podcast out. Jay, see you next time, buddy.
See you, dudes. Bye, guys.
Alrighty, mama. We're here to talk another video game for the month of October.
Woohoo! I'm ready.
You're ready. We just got done Let's Playing some MediEvil on the PlayStation 4.
Yes, had a lot of fun doing that. Didn't realize the time was flying by.
Yeah, this was probably the easiest one we've had the pleasure of playing together.
I thought I liked it. I had fun. And when you said it's time to stop, I'm like, well, it's only been an hour. No, it's been 2 hours. What? You're right. It had been 2 hours. So I had fun. I was captured.
Captured, you say?
I was captured.
Well, that's good to hear.
Visually captured.
MediEvil is a remake of a game that came out in October 21st, 1998. Almost exactly 21 years to the day that the remake has come out. The remake is made by Other Ocean of Emeryville, which is a developer out. Its headquarters is in Emeryville, California, but the actual developers are out of Newfoundland, Canada. Which is funny because there's some lines where you made the comment after there's some witty dialogue and they end with welcome back, eh? What are they, Canadian?
So where was this? In Canada? A Canadian? Who made this? Sure enough.
Nice little coincidence, ironic stuff.
Right. I'm observant.
You were very observant. You helped me tremendously in the playthrough because I have a lot of trouble remembering a lot that was happening in this game, and I even played this game relatively recently. I use relatively like in the last 2 years of the original MediEvil on the PlayStation for the Retro podcast. But even then, I quickly forgot so many things, including the boss battles. Hi, kitty cat. Well, my cat's finally stopped running around after 45 minutes. Now he's sleeping. He's all tuckered out. So, MediEvil is about a wizard, an evil wizard. He kind of raises people from the dead and puts a curse among a town and makes inanimate things come to life kind of situation, and they're all under his power. Well, he accidentally revives Sir Daniel Fortescue from his dead slumber, you could say, and he's the hero that has been tasked by stopping this guy. The funny part is when they show what happened in the battle of the past against this guy, Sir Daniel led the charge and then took an arrow in the face and died immediately. He was the first one to die. So it's a comedy hero.
Wait, say that again?
Which part?
The shot in the eye thing? What?
So there was a battle. There was an original battle in the past against the wizard.
Okay.
And Sir Daniel led the charge and took an arrow in the face at the start of the battle.
That's why he didn't have an eye?
Correct.
Or doesn't have an eye?
Correct.
Okay. But they don't show that.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, they showed him taking the arrow in the face.
Well, see, that's why I wanted you to restart it, because there's some stuff I missed. Darn you, Jacob. Oh, well. Go ahead.
So what did you think of the levels, the characters, the whole spiel? The whole game?
The whole game, the whole spiel, the whole enchilada. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I was entertained. And I was enjoying the different levels so much so that I'm not even realizing that it was taking into 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't find it, if you're looking for a massive challenge, I don't think that it's terribly hard. I think it's another great game for family entertainment.
So right up there with the Zelda type stuff?
Yes. I liked it too because it's, on the Halloween theme. It's
yeah, it fits the month.
It fits the month perfectly. It's not a scary, it's not gory, bloody. I just think it's good family entertainment. And this also is a one-person game.
Correct.
So, though it's a one-person game, you're still able to enjoy watching it.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you don't make it to the next level, there's a lot that goes on that keeps you interested in the game, and you want to seek out and figure out, and it's not frustrating trying to do so.
No, I definitely wasn't. I definitely wasn't frustrated.
Yeah. No,
there was a couple things that got to me, like the football-esque players that take like half your health immediately.
Yeah.
Because sometimes bringing up the shield seems a bit delayed.
Do you recall
when you want to bring it up?
Do you recall that in the original?
Oh, a lot of the controls in the original were real bad. So I was giving you a kind of a rundown of the past, where I used to get the PlayStation Jam Packs and the PlayStation Underground, the demo discs, and this was among the demo discs. And I really wanted this game badly. And one year, you finally did get it for me, a year or so after it came out. And to my disappointment, the game was incredibly frustrating to play, even as a kid. The camera would constantly bounce off walls and freak out, or it'd get stuck because of the time. The fighting controls would be kind of input delayed, like they wouldn't listen to you all the time. Situation when doing the daggers or the bow attacks, you had a much harder time hitting the enemies with them, so you were stuck kind of playing one way. In this one, you yourself even saw me using the bow and the daggers, throwing them at enemies from a distance more, switching between weapons a lot more. I did wish the game kind of would at least show a prompt of how to use the new controls, because I didn't know how to use the dash like at all. I had to look it up.
You got to think though too that basically this is a new game. It's considered a new game because you have new technology, and don't most games want you to figure out stuff?
Ah, that is, you actually have it backwards. In the past, they would actually make you figure all these things out on your own. Today, they kind of hold your hand a lot more.
Oh, well, that's stupid. So then you don't have to think.
Right.
Technology.
But for something like a control, because I was like, oh, I can just run past these guys. I have that. I just got that ability. So that's you thinking out the problem. How to use the ability. It didn't teach me how to use that new ability at all.
And then how did you learn how to use it?
I had to look it up online, and that was just
cheater.
It was just looking up how to use the control, which was simply forward and R1, which in the past controls it was double tap triangle. Right? But in this one, the double tapping triangle was just to switch between the weapons on the fly, which I'm pretty sure you couldn't do in the original. So that was really nice, being able to switch between all the weapons.
Yeah.
It was much easier. I could be wrong, but it felt much more fluid in this one, that's for sure. What'd you think of the humor in the game? All the dialogue and the banter?
Well, Fortescue was quite entertaining.
Fortescue.
Okay, him too. His dialogue sounded like a Scooby-Doo guy.
Yeah, kind of. Well, he doesn't have a jaw, so he can't speak. Well, he doesn't have lungs either. He's a skeleton.
Well, and I felt that the dialogue was easy to follow. And it allowed you to read along with the dialogue that was being shown. And I like that because it gets you more involved in the game and understanding it better instead of just hearing it. So I like that part of it.
Yeah, I don't think the original had subtitles at all either. That wasn't an option. It is now. I've noticed this with a few games.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What's the age on this?
T for teen, surprisingly enough.
What?
Yes.
Teen?
For blood, gore, and violence.
And that's exactly what I said wasn't there.
Yeah, I know.
What the heck?
You would think this would be for E for everybody, right?
It should be. I'm not. Did I miss something?
I mean, I don't remember tons of blood and guts being sprayed everywhere. That's for sure.
No.
But my theory is, in the 90s, when these things were taken much more seriously than they are today, just the fact that you were wielding a weapon and quote-unquote killing things in the game, right? With a weapon, that was considered violence. But I don't know about the blood and gore. That's kind of lost on me.
That's pretty extreme. I think. Do you think that
so? It just kept the same rating it had in the past.
I think it carried over from the original rating.
I think so as well.
Yeah, and parents, if they're looking for that, are looking at that going, "Oh no," and that's not the case at all.
Right. Now, since you mentioned that, I believe the European rating they actually write down like the age number, and they have a different rating system. It's actually for 7 and up.
Well, that makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah,
that makes
I agree.
sense because that's about the age that I would say for this game would be 7 and up.
Yeah. So.
Oh, that's cuckoo.
how about the art style and presentation of it all? I said it reminded me of The Nightmare Before Christmas, personally.
Well, it's got that darkness, I suppose. It could be that. And I thought it was like, it reminded me of Beetlejuice.
Which is the same realm of spooky Halloween themed stuff.
Right. In cartoon style, Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Which, didn't they even do a cartoon of Beetlejuice for a while? Yeah.
I'm sure they did, because I'm pretty sure we watched it.
Yeah. There's a cartoon of Beetlejuice.
I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
If not, we have a false memory of it.
No, I swear there was, definitely. Addams Family, cartoonish. Yeah.
So what was your favorite part of the game that we got to play? We played all the way to the Scarecrow level. Up till then. I was going to cut it off beforehand. You're like, no, let's go to the windmills.
Which ended up being the most fun, I thought, because that was a challenge.
Oh, yeah. Those scarecrows are jerks.
Right? So it ended up being a good challenge. And actually, you finally died several times. So I like seeing
I
you
died
die.
immediately.
Yeah. And after reading the book for the second time, you kind of understood a little more about it.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, if I can't beat him, run away. And then I tried beating him, and that didn't work out so well.
And Children of the Corn, don't go into the corn. And you went into the corn.
Yeah, I just barely stepped into it. And there's freaking, what is it? Not a lemming, a tremor inside, I guess.
Right? And and then you had the corn snake in around there.
Yeah, so that was interesting. There was a lot of these chests that I would throw something at and they would explode, but that one on that particular level happened to have a guardian spirit thing that I had unleashed, and he helped me destroy the scarecrows. So I'm wondering why there wasn't a guardian on previous levels.
Maybe you didn't unleash it.
I mean, they just exploded.
Maybe you didn't fight it. Maybe you didn't find it.
No, I found him. He just exploded. There was nothing in him.
It's one of those things that makes you go,
Yeah. Now, there are some instant death things in the game that gets a little frustrating. I can see that being a thing where you just fall in a pit. You saw me lose a vial of life just by not making the jump over a small lava pit.
Right.
Just bang, life over. Like, whoa, come on. A little harsh, don't you think?
No.
No, you don't think so?
No.
Think it just adds to the challenge?
Yeah, absolutely.
Those certain aspects like that?
You got to. If you want to play like a 4-year-old, then you're in the wrong game.
Ah. I like that answer. Yeah, I didn't feel as frustrated playing this remake as I did the original. I was having fun. It was relaxing. Got to pay attention more to the humor. A lot of the sound effects were quite funny. I liked those.
The music kind of, at one point when you're supposed to be reading or, it's like Candyland or something, and you're on the orchestra and back to the evil music.
Yeah, a lot of organ music in the game.
Yeah, chamber organ music. Beauty and the Beast. Oh. What? But what else do zombies do? I don't know, but I'm told they sound like that.
Oh, oh boy. So, Did you see a lot of variety in the levels or how I was playing the game?
That's a good question because you had to keep going back to the cemetery to get to another level. Am I right or wrong?
I went back there once, and there
Okay.
was a couple kind of graveyard-esque levels, yes,
Okay.
to start the game. Yeah.
To start into the next level. You start out in the
Right.
graveyard and you go to the
Right,
level. And
you
now
start
you're
out in the graveyard, and then you go to a
it's kind of hard to
cemetery.
decipher what level you were on because we ended up in the graveyard 3 times for 3 levels
Right.
to start. So that's why I had to question you. Well, what level are you on? And
That makes sense.
you never know how many levels there are in a game. What? Why not? Is my question. Why don't I know what my goal is?
Well, it's the journey to the end. We know the goal. The goal is to
No, I want to
defeat
know.
the wizard guy.
No. I want to know how many levels to my goal do I have to get to?
Well, I guess your benchmark in MediEvil is you have all those statues in the Hall of Heroes. Because that's kind of your midpoint, right?
Okay.
Your center. And so you have your roadmap of going along all these areas, right? And you always end up back at the Hall of Heroes, all of Fortescue's friends of the past and their statues.
Mm-hmm.
And for every new weapon you get, in order to get the new weapon, you have to collect the chalice on those levels that you play, which is defeating a percentage of the enemies. Well, you have a meter that when you defeat an enemy, the meter will fill up to get to 100%, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So then when you pass the level and you have 100%, you collect the chalice, then excuse me.
No.
Then you've unlocked the next statue to get to the next ending, and the whole goal is to get to your statue in the end, which is that's your end goal. So you can kind of see in the Hall of Heroes 1, 2, 3, 7, 9 statues, and we got to statue 3. So we got a good chunk of the way through the game in a couple hours.
We got to 3 statues out of 9 in 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looked like there was about 9.
Then that took a while.
Well, I mean, it was only a couple hours that we played.
Well, I would expect 1 statue every 30 minutes.
Oh, jeez. Well, then you just breezed right
You're
through it.
You're just slacking. Well, that's what you get for dying all the time.
Hey, I didn't die game over until the scarecrows killed me.
Yeah, I gotta watch out for those scarecrows.
Jerks. So a big complaint I've been reading over this game is it's too faithful to the original.
Did you feel that way?
As a negative, no. As a positive, yes. I think the camera and controls alone are worth the price of entry, right? And then everything else that the game did was very faithful to the original in a great way. So I don't know what the problem. I guess people were expecting things to be added in that didn't need to be there. I'm not sure. But from the base perspective, you enjoyed your time, correct?
I did. Maybe the negative Nellies just never really liked the game to begin with.
Or they just never played the original at all?
Right. And then, so, because they didn't care for it, they're already in the negative mindset that they're not open for the changes that ended up being for the better. And they're not seeing that. They're just saying it's too much like the original. And of course it can't be. It can follow the original as a base, but it's got to have improvements. I mean, the technology alone.
Oh, it looks 1,000 times better than it did back then.
God, yeah.
All right.
I'd like to be in that one with that thing that goes over your eyes, like you're in the movie thing. What is that thing?
What, the 3D glasses?
Yeah, the 3D glass. Not the 3D glass. Yeah, the thing that makes you dizzy and you got to sit down and be a part of the whole thing. Remember when we played that? Remember when I had played that with you when you were in Toronto?
Oh, the virtual reality?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should make that into virtual reality.
MediEvil should be in VR.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
Well, everything is better in VR.
Yeah. What a strange feeling that thing is. I'll tell you.
Well, you played it when it first came out. You got to play it now when you visit next month.
I shall. I'm looking forward
Play
to
some
that.
of the new games.
Yeah.
I got the perfect game I'd like you to play.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I'm in. So all
Maybe
in
a
all, I
couple.
give this game 2 thumbs up. I liked it.
Now, where does it
Pure
rank
action.
on? Where does it rank on the now 3 games you have reviewed? You have
Well,
Control, Zelda, and now this.
I would take it over the other 2.
Really?
As far as I think it's a little easier.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit more straightforward, gets you in, gets you moving, keeps you entertained
Mm-hmm.
without frustrations, or not as many. And then I would go backwards. Zelda and then Control. But again, Control is just, it's not a kid's game.
It is not.
No. That's rated R or whatever.
Rated R.
Whatever they call
mature.
it. It's more for an older teenager.
Audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
13, 14 and up, somewhere around there. My
All right.
opinion.
Well, with that, we will hear from you again when Luigi's Mansion comes out next week.
Excellent.
All right, Mother, we're back to talk another game.
Woohoo.
Last time we spoke, it was over MediEvil Remake,
Yep.
the spooky skeleton game. Now we're back for another spooky game
Yep.
to end the October games.
Perfect.
It is Luigi's Mansion 3.
Luigi's Mansion 3.
You got to... The voices are indeed goofy.
Oh my god. That's hysterical. You want to say it's like some foreign Asian mix of French and who knows what.
It's gibberish. It's gibberish.
Pure gibberish.
Each character in the game has their own gibberish. Mario's got his shtick with the wahoo. Is your phone going
I'm
off
sorry.
during the podcast?
Oh my god. I'm trying to decline it and it won't stop.
Ah, what a disaster. We didn't make it 2 minutes into this one.
All right.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Hey,
So this one should
James
be...
Bond.
Yes, as we heard. So this one should be short and sweet because Jay and I kind of ran down our feelings over the game, what it's about, what it entails.
What? Who's Jay?
Jay is the regular member of the podcast.
I
the one
see.
that does the other games.
Other games.
Yes, the other ones.
Oh,
But
what
we
I
did
get
talk
to
about...
I get to do the juvenile ones. That's what.
No, oh well. I mean, next month we're doing a very strange
Am I
and
doing something
weird game.
adult?
Yes.
Wow.
It is definitely adult.
Well, thank
I'm
you.
very, very curious about your opinion over it. It's next month is Death Stranding. It's going to be...
What?
It's called Death Stranding.
Death
Yes, it is adult.
Stranding.
Yes, Death Stranding.
Is this
death adult enough for you?
Is this a new?
Yes.
Okay.
It's new.
And it's not phase 1, 2, 3 or version 1, 2, 3 or
No.
Okay.
Brand new.
Brand new video game.
But Luigi's Mansion 3 is the third iteration in the Luigi's Mansion series.
Okay.
Okay.
Here's a
It's a
question
Nintendo
for
game.
You. Here's a question
Okay,
for you.
shoot. Ask away. Question
on
away.
The Mansion 1 and 2, as we are in 3, on the 1 and 2, when you get to a certain point, does that also have that capability of having more than 2 players? Like Mansion 3 has, when you get to a point, you get to have 8 players. But like you said, you have to go online for that. Are the other 2 give you that also?
I've never played the second game. I've only played the first one.
What?
And the first game came out on the GameCube in the early 2000s. So it's been a minute. The second game came out on the DS or the 3DS. It's called Dark Moon. I don't know if that has multiplayer online capabilities. But you're right. After you play about an hour of Luigi's Mansion 3, after you get through all the tutorials and everything, you have a couple modes where you can go multiplayer, where it's almost like a co-op or a competition base of catching ghosts. So adding the multiplayer aspect to Luigi's Mansion 3 is really cool.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun. But you need to have Switch Online to be able to play online. Gotta have the service, which you were very against.
But you don't have to do that. You don't have to go
no.
online.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
But my question is so when you get to that point on the game, can you join online at any time? I'm not understanding that.
Yeah, once you get to that point, then you go to the lab while you're in the game, and that's how you can access it. Which is kind of strange when you think about it. You would think that it would unlock in the menu of the game, so you wouldn't have to go into the story mode each time.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
Yeah. So that is a good observation that Jay and I, in fact, did not even talk about.
Well, see, I can bring something new to the table.
You bring a lot of things new to the table, especially your wrestling. You are called... You know what?
What?
You are called a heel on the podcast.
What is that?
So, in wrestling, there are heels and faces. Good guys, bad guys. You are considered a bad guy, a heel.
Why?
On the wrestling podcast.
Why?
Because of your opinions.
Oh. Well, good for me.
But yet, on the video game podcast, you are very much a good guy. So, yeah, a lot of good feedback from parental units apparently that listen to the cast over your thoughts. You go, a good children's game, says the mother.
Right.
A good continuing back on topic before we get sidetracked further.
Yes.
Luigi's
please.
Mansion 3. What did you think? What did you think of the sound, the colors? You already voiced your pleasure in the hilarity of the voice acting.
Well, it was. I thought that was very, very unique. And as we got involved in that game, I had to ask what was the age limit on, or the age where it started. Mm-hmm. And you said it started at 6. And
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. And there was some things that I felt that would be a little bit more difficult for a 6-year-old. More challenging, I should say.
Sure, and I could totally see that because right off the bat in the game, it gives you a puzzle to find a key that's kind of in a hidden wall safe, and you have to flash your light at a mirror to unlock the safe because you see a little green light in the mirror, but you don't see it kind of in the foreground, if you will.
Right, and that got me to thinking. Also, there were things that. Well, do you have to play the first and second game to have to play this third, Mansion 3? Because a lot of times, even watching a movie, you want to see 1 and 2 before you get to 3, because there's things that are in 3 that kind of, am I supposed to already know that? Like Ghost Dog. Apparently, Ghost Dog was in what version?
It has to be in the second one because I played the first one. There was no ghost dog in the first one.
Yeah. So,
but he has a ghost dog. You just go, okay, he has a ghost dog.
Right, but
not a big deal that you don't know.
But what I'm saying is, I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't some things that I have to know for this game that I would to be playing it. Or is there characters that were introduced on the first and second game that carried over into this one?
Well, Ghost Dog would be one. Professor Egad would be another. He kind of comes from Super Mario Sunshine as well.
Okay.
But the thing is, at the start of the game, when you're going through the dialogue, they kind of reintroduce themselves. Kind of fill you in on who each character is.
Uh-huh.
Like Egad, he goes, "Oh, I was lured here by an invitation for spooky ghosts because he's a kind of scientist ghost collector deal,
okay.
And he was tricked. So that's how he's there. They explain that, and he kind of mentions, "Oh, you found my special ghost vacuum in my car." So you go, "Okay, that's his car." No, it fills in the gaps for you of what you need to know. You don't need to play the other two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And not a lot of people have a GameCube anymore anyways, so they kind of have to put it in a way.
Oh, okay. So...
not everybody's like me where they still have the console from 20 years ago.
Okay, so this is just like an upgrade of the other two that are now available, that's now available in this version of Nintendo, right?
If I'm interpreting what you're saying, no. This is a brand new game. This is the third game in the series. But they try to keep it standalone so you don't have to play the first two.
Okay.
You follow me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So imagine... What's a movie comparison? You know what? Imagine James Bond. You've watched the first two movies and someone hasn't watched the first two movies, but the third one involves a new villain, new story.
Yeah.
You know who James Bond is.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
In this case, you went...
It's not...
You asked
me... It's a new story, new everything.
Right, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Like you asked me, is Luigi Mario's brother? Yes. Oh, that's all you need to know. It's truly all you need to know.
Whew, good thing.
Yeah, so even you got that.
I'm having a bad day. I'm having a headache day.
Yeah, so I got to introduce you to Gooigi, the green
that was
gooey version.
That was pretty cool. I kind of like that little guy.
The doppelganger.
Yeah.
Used to solve various puzzles. They're not like super difficult to figure out, but for a young child, even for myself that played the whole game already, actually, I found a couple of the puzzles to be kind of head scratching at times, especially the boss fights, the gimmick, because as you saw with the first one with the suitcase, the woman eats the suitcase,
right?
And the game teaches you that to defeat a ghost, you just have to do the flashlight and then suck them up. But all of a sudden it's not working. So you're trying. That's what I was trying to convey to you. It's like, why isn't this working? And then Egad, the professor, gets on the little virtual boy that's in the game, and he goes, hey, that's not working. Try the plunger attack. You go, okay, I'll try that.
Yeah, and where did you get that plunger?
When I went back to the basement, he upgraded my vacuum. Yeah, because he made a little lab down there, Doctor Who style.
Okay. I guess I missed that part.
Yeah, you might have been looking away or messing with a thing or another. You did just get a new bed after all. I bet you're excited to sleep tonight.
We shall see.
We'll see. We'll see if you're all Stella in the morning or not. Going full Seinfeld.
I'm almost scared.
But each floor has its own theme and gimmick with solving various puzzles, and you end with a boss fight.
I liked having the map in the upper right hand corner to see where you were, while you're doing your little adventure. That was nice to see that.
It was easy to navigate, unlike another game that we played.
Well, not only that, when you're going in the right direction, it gives you an X to say X marks the spot. Yes, you're going the right way.
Yeah, you don't feel like you're wasting your time.
Right, like you're going around in circles going, God, what door is it? Which would be frustrating for a young player.
I say it's frustrating for anyone.
True.
Yeah, and even on my trip, I can say this, I went to Baltimore, and I did not end up going to D.C. at any point from Baltimore, referencing you and I's trip from 2005.
Oh, darn.
I did, in fact, continue north. I in no way went south.
You didn't go in any circles.
Also, the Google Maps now exists, so I don't have to worry about...
This is true. We didn't have Google Maps. We had to ask a security guard who goes, it's right there. The highway's right there. Oh, my God. How many times?
Yeah, but if you miss one exit, you're going back.
Oh, my God.
So, yes, the map in this game is very easy to navigate.
Yeah.
It even tells you areas that you have and have not been before by shading out certain areas.
And it was helping you with regard to what buttons to push.
It's a little hand-holdy, but it does it on purpose because it is aimed at children.
Correct.
Because we did play MediEvil, and I did criticize that the game doesn't teach you the buttons at all whatsoever, right? And while this one teaches you...
wouldn't see a 6-year-old or a 10-year-old playing that game either.
What, MediEvil?
Yeah.
The one with the skeleton dude?
Oh, my mistake. I was thinking of it.
I think you're thinking
one.
Control.
Yes, I was. You're absolutely right. I was.
But yeah, this one has a long tutorial system that really gets you to...
it is handheldy, kind of, but... for the age that it's targeting, you still have your challenges, but it's not frustrating. It wouldn't be as frustrating.
Right. So what are your general, then, finishing thoughts on the game?
My finishing thoughts on that, I did enjoy it. I thought it was entertaining. I think it's that one is another nice family game that you could enjoy watching with the child and being able to help them if they need it and not really have to know the game. Mm-hmm. But it's a parent joining friendly game. Yeah, I liked it. It was entertaining. I wasn't bored.
That's very important.
Yes, I wasn't bored. And I probably could even play it.
I don't know about that.
Hey, now, come on, give me some credit.
I've seen you play a 3D game before. It's
It's entertaining.
boy.
I'm entertaining.
I mean,
come on now.
Pac-Man 3D World on YouTube is you trying to play a 3D video game. It's almost like your brain doesn't work that way. You're like, I'm not going left or right. This is confusing. I have to use all these buttons. No.
Well, what can I tell you?
I need
a 12-year-old to do my. I need a 12-year-old to connect my phone to my car.
Well, this is true.
I got this new phone. And I'm trying to connect it to my Honda, my 2013 Honda, and I can't get past the first part. It's really annoying. And I'm in IT. Maybe I don't belong.
You might, yeah. Well, maybe you're a little too hard on yourself. Maybe. So I'm fully convinced that if you sit down and truly commit yourself to playing a video game or figuring out today's technology, because you are more than capable. I've seen you more than capable of doing things, right?
I can. I know.
Yeah.
I have to sit down and think, and
really learn.
I just have to think, which helps me learn.
Oh, brain stuff? I don't know.
Right, exactly. I mean, when you get home from work, I've been in the computer all day. In the computer, not doing stuff on the computer, in the computer. So
you're on the line?
Yeah, I'm on the line. Yeah.
So $1 million question then, as I always do to you.
I'm ready.
Where does this rank on all the games you've experienced so far in 2019?
I kind of like the treasure hunt better. The one we played last
treasure
time.
Hunt.
Well, I call it a treasure hunt.
The
island one.
The skeleton game? The island one?
Yeah.
Okay, Zelda.
Yeah, I like that one.
So this would be number 3, because you liked MediEvil the most, because it was the most action-based, and then you got the island, and then this one, and then Control being last. The adult game is last.
Yeah.
Okay.
The adult one was frustrating. It was irritating watching.
It was frustrating.
It was.
I agree.
But you did it without... See, the difference with that is that you were learning it as we were watching. But you cheated. So
cheated?
Yeah,
cheat.
You played this game before we got to talk about
it.
Okay, so I wasn't learning with you. You were just doing it, and you already did it. And so a lot of the stuff you already knew, so I could...
Well, I was doing things...
I couldn't even help you. Except
but
when
I was also doing...
under the mattress.
But I was also doing certain things on purpose of I remember not knowing to do certain things.
Yeah.
What I wasn't doing was going in each and every single room and wandering for a while. We just didn't have that kind of time.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't want to waste your time.
Well, I appreciate that.
I mean, you said we got an hour. That's all we got. I was like, okay.
Because I gotta eat.
Well, I gotta go eat too, actually. So let's wrap this up. Mom, it was great having you on for another cast. Next month will be Death Stranding. In fact,
this is a good Christmas game, though. That would be fun for Christmas.
What, Death Stranding?
No! Luigi Mansion.
Luigi's Mansion, the game about a spooky hotel for Christmas?
But it's not that spooky.
It did come out on Halloween Day.
Granted, because of ghosts and King Boo.
Well, I will say I've played Death Stranding already for a little bit, because I know I did not. But you are visiting here in a couple weeks.
Yes.
I will play it again with you live on stream,
What?
and we'll play it together.
Is
Yes.
it a two-person game?
No, but
Oh.
it's let's use the word game loosely for now.
Okay.
I'm very curious of your thoughts.
Okay.
All right.
So I'm not going to
All right,
know
Mother.
anything about it, right? Unless I look it up, and I'm not going to do that.
Well, I have actually streamed the first 10 hours of the game
What?
on YouTube already. Yes.
Okay.
So if you
Okay.
want to cheat, you can just watch it, but that's not as fun.
No. Fair enough.
I want to know your live thoughts.
Oh boy. Okay.
Okay. Well,
That's good.
this was episode 26 of the Modern Gamecast. Thank you, Mom, for another amazing podcast. I look forward to having you back next time.
You're very welcome. I'll talk to you later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, Mom.
Bye.